Hey guys, welcome back to the Podtendo podcast tiers ranking list, where we're going back and re-ranking all of our shows from the very first up until our current, and then we'll carry on this trend as a supplemental viewing experience for our YouTube audience. Yay, because our podcasts weirdly do get downloads occasionally and listens to on the pod, even though it's just a static image and a podcast. Just play it on your phone. What are you doing, kids? Get a phone. Get a job. I'm your host, Mick, joined every episode of my podcast co-host,
Tyson, and I'm definitely one of those people.
Okay.
Because sometimes I just have YouTube open because in an office, they'll block stuff like Spotify, but not YouTube, and you're like, well, I'm just gonna watch YouTube all day.
Interesting.
Or have that for background noise.
And I also forget that like PC gaming and like sitting at your computer in the evenings is an activity versus I'm a couch and a television man myself, right? So I forget that a lot of people do this. Not just the large people, there's small people that do it too. But here we go. So we're done the first 20 shows. This is our cute little tiers list. Only blemish is a random copy of Super Mario World that we can't just get rid of. And we don't want to burn it, so we're kind of stuck with it. But we get, how many new games today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 games. So sometimes we did like two-parters, and we still do two-parters, and they count as like 2 episodes. Sometimes we broke up
side quests.
Yeah, sometimes we broke up games in like 2 parts that probably didn't need it. And then we like mushed shows together. Anyways, nine new shows to talk about today. Feeling good about our list. We want to change anything about this? No, we're good?
Yeah, I think we're still solid. I'm looking forward to this list. We got a really solid list where there's going to be some movement for sure. But I'm excited. Let's get into it.
Okay, sweet. So we're going to start our alphabetical order. We're going to skip Super Mario World because the alphabet does not start with an S. But C is definitely closer to that starting letter. So we're going to start with, there we go, Chrono Trigger.
Excellent game.
Yeah, very solid RPG. It's in depth. It's got a cute art style, a good narrative, multiple endings, different ways of approaching the game, lots of customization, all those things we'd like.
Yep. Definitely I'm leaning to like top of the great experience list. I don't know if it's required because honestly, we never played it growing up, and going back and replaying it. The only thing I'm missing is like a little bit of the nostalgia factor to it, but soundtrack's amazing.
Yep.
But yeah. It unfortunately didn't kickstart a franchise, or it would be the top, or maybe in required playing.
Okay, so you're going to call it a great experience, and you want to put it on the top of that list.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning.
Yeah, it's a better RPG than Mario RPG. It's a really good experience. Required. Tyson's really good at these lists. Like, he just kind of says it, and I'm like, no, that's the perfect spot. I'm not even going to argue against it. So it gives me... It's hard. Maybe we'll get more controversial at some point as the list kind of grows. All right. How about Donkey Kong Country? So the original DKC. Where's that going to get you?
Man. Timeless platformer. Solid. Start a franchise that I guess still has games coming out every now and then. Even with massive gaps in between. It is it's a fun experience. I think Donkey Kong Country 2 is a little bit better. So I'm kind of leaning more great experience.
Yeah.
Do I put this ahead of Chrono Trigger? Or do we put this behind Super Mario RPG? And I think I kind of want to put it behind Super Mario RPG.
Yeah.
Just because it's fantastic, but it's it's missing that little bit of extra magic that I think Donkey Kong Country 2 has.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the polish and like the charm and the charisma, right? Like, it's one of those games. Donkey Kong Country 2, I'm like, I'll play like any day of the week, right? That's just kind of off the cuff how I feel about it. So no, I like that position. About Final Fantasy 2 or 4, depending which side of the Pacific Ocean you grew up on.
I'm super biased. I'm going to say I will, like, here's my big disclaimer. Like, this is one of my favorite games.
All right.
I think this, as far as 2D Final Fantasy games to go, this is my definitive experience. Like, this is the game I like playing. It's got a bunch of the cool characters that I like. I like the story twists. It's got memorable characters, even villains, and it makes you feel for a lot of these characters,
Yep.
but also like feel for the world. I like it so much. I want to put it just behind Super Mario Brothers 3 on required playing, because in my eyes, this is the best
Ooh.
2D. I mean, and I know it's controversial. I know it's controversial, but it's not. It's not up yet. So that's where I'm putting it. Maybe when we get to 6, I'll put it ahead of it. But as of now, I want to put it in between Super Mario Brothers 3 and Resident Evil. But I don't know, where are you thinking?
I don't think it makes required playing, because what RPG would like hit that level? No, like I'm thinking like required playing. So this is for someone who's never played older video games, right? For someone who's like younger, I think they would really, really struggle playing this game. The story kind of does go kooky bonkers. You do random stuff, like lots of the time the conveyance in that game just isn't there. I'm always like, where am I supposed to go? Why am I fighting this dark elf? What the heck's going on? Why is there a bard in this game? I agree with you. I don't think it's super flawed, right? It's definitely, if we're gonna say call Final Fantasy 1 here and Chrono Trigger there, I believe
maybe behind Donkey Kong Country.
that would be like, I would be comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that. That's why, like, I would put it in required playing, because that's, again, disclaimer, one of my favorite games. So I get these super rose tinted glasses, brand name, called Final Fantasy 2.
Yeah. No. And I see ya. I feel ya. I understand it. There you go. Cool. All right. How about The Legend of Zelda: A Link's Awakening for the Game Boy? Ooh.
Yeah. Dang. So this game, I think that this game has had a huge resurgence in love. I like, this was one of the games that we had on the Game Boy, and I loved this game to death. I thought it was super fun. Had some Mario crossovers. Had a little bit like a fun trading game. I know a lot, like, to an extent where a lot of people like to rank this like up there with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask as like one of the best gaming or like Zelda gaming experiences. I don't know if I want to go that high. Is it required playing? A little bit. Or is it? I don't know. What are you thinking? I'm kind of guessing myself on this one.
Off the cuff, I believe it is not as great of an experience just throughout and fully flushed as, say, a Chrono Trigger, but it might be greater than the original Zelda. So now I'm looking at kind of like this killer's row that we got going here.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go and do
in between
that.
Yeah.
I want to push this ahead, and then I kind of want to put this there.
Yeah, no, I was exactly like, I was just staring at it. I'm like, maybe we should put Donkey Kong Country ahead of Mario RPG.
Yeah.
And then this is behind Donkey Kong Country.
Because this is a better experience
perfect.
than this, but it's not as good as experience. So that was my litmus test. I was like, we screwed up with that ranking.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And that's kind of like why it's nice to kind of like go through this, because you can kind of like stare at something and you're like, that's not right.
Yeah.
I got to switch that.
There you go.
So,
okay.
Well done.
So now we're on to the final 5 games of this episode. Again, we're excluding Super Mario World. It's already up there. It just likes hanging out in the selection crew. Super Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo. Where does that belong in this?
I think that this might be my first okay but skippable.
Oh, all right.
Of the episode, just because, I mean, the good but flawed section has like a lot of replayability. I don't know if there's a ton of replayability with Super Mario Kart, unless you have like the caveat of like you're playing co-op with a friend.
Yeah.
So if you're playing co-op with a friend, then it's like, it's definitely good but flawed. But if you're just playing it by yourself, it leaves a lot to be desired. So I would maybe put it, after Metroid.
Ooh. See, I was thinking before Metroid.
Okay.
Right? Like, I think it belongs there. I don't know if it's as good as Castlevania. Yeah. I'd probably play Castlevania over this again if I was to have a choice, but I'd probably play this over Metroid.
Yeah.
I agree with the tier.
Sense.
As soon as you said skippable, I was like, yeah, like, I get it, but it's only 2-player. It's limited. every other iteration of that game is vastly superior. So why would you play a flawed product?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay, nice. So what about Mega Man 2? So one of the better of the Mega Man games, maybe one of the best to the. It's probably the best of the original series. If I'm being honest with you guys, that's kind of where I'm coming from with that one. It is a great experience. Yeah, it is.
I was thinking great experience. Do you put it above Final Fantasy 2 or behind Zelda?
I think it's better. I think it's better than those RPGs. It's funny that we're kind of just working in this little zone here, eh? Like we're just kind of filling up that cluster of great games. Obviously, between show 21 and 30, we were like, we gotta like throw some heavy hitters out there. So that's good. This tier was like really top heavy at the beginning, so I'm glad instead of just doing like we got to some meat and potatoes here. So yeah, I'm okay with that. Mega Man 2, is it better than Link's Awakening?
I mean, I think it's kind of hard to like. I find it hard to say because I have a lot of like replayability with Link's Awakening. Like,
that's perfect because Mega Man will get a chance to shine on some of the greater tiers later. So I don't think that's like the pinnacle of Mega Man, but it's again
one of the best soundtracks though. So like, I mean, that one does get like an extra bonus point for that. So depends.
Nice. Sweet. Okay.
Metal Gear Solid.
No, Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. Oh yes. Not Solid. Just the original.
Okay. So it is definitely not required. It's not a great experience.
No.
It is flaws.
I'm thinking it's... Yeah.
But could we skip it?
I'm almost debating skip it. But I wouldn't... Like, it's either top of the skip it or good but flawed. And I kind of want to put in good but flawed. I know, like, the Metal Gear 2 for the... MSX is supposedly like the best version, but I think even what this was doing, like it was a really cool, like Metal Gear experience. It has I remember having lots of fun with it. So maybe behind Final Fantasy and the good but flawed, like maybe the bottom of that tier.
Yeah, that was tough to say. Like it is one of those good but flawed. So that means you're putting your endorsement of someone who's interested should play this game.
Okay, well then maybe we should put it in skippable.
I think it's skippable because, like we talked about with the Metal Gear games, Metal Gear is a very fun, interesting. I like it. I think it's a very, 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 very solid experience. But big but coming. You could just start with Solid. You don't have to play Metal Gear Snake's Revenge, or Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. So.
Yep.
But it is probably a better experience and a better game than Mega Man, Castlevania, this. Super Mario 2. Maybe that one I'm like kind of having second thoughts on. I don't know why we skipped that one.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll see how it shakes out, but I could see that one in a later episode maybe working its way to good but flawed.
Like, I wouldn't hate it here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I don't hate it there. Let's just do it. Let's just put it there.
All right.
Yeah.
It just feels wrong to have a Mario game that low, right?
Yeah. And you know what? Mario 2 is a much more, like, I can recommend this game over Metal Gear, which is like, this is a great experience. And if you like Metal Gear games, like, go back and play this.
Okay. Sweet. Okay. So another fun NES game here, Star Tropics. Where does Star Tropics belong on this list?
A game we both had a really fun time with.
Yep. But there are some issues with it.
Yes. Yeah. So, I'm kind of leaning ahead of Castlevania in the skippable tier and behind like the Mega Man.
Ooh,
just because like it's not a bad game. It's okay, but it's like I wouldn't say it's required playing. Like if you're a more casual person, I wouldn't say like, oh, go back and play this. You're gonna have like a banger of an experience. You're gonna have a good time. But when you get to the goofiness that is the look at the piece of paper in the box, you're going to be like, okay, what the heck?
And some of the later levels do get kind of hard and challenging, and it's kind of unforgiving. And with the save states on an emulator, great. Instantly, I kind of wanted to put it here Like, I was thinking it's better than Super Mario Brothers, but you're right. Could you skip it? I think you could. But it's kind of a gem. I want to call it
gem.
I think it's more flawed. Like, I would almost say, like, go back and play it. It's kind of fun. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's when it's one of those games where you could put in between the.
Where did you say initially? There.
Dreamland. Yeah, but that's kind of I was like hesitant. But you know what? It's. I think it's one of those things where if somebody is picking up an NES controller, they're gonna kind of know what to be expected, and when they play it, they're gonna be pleasantly surprised.
I think it's worse than. I would rather play Super Mario Brothers 2 than that game, but I think you should play that. Yeah, I'm gonna put it there. I'm comfortable putting it there.
Yeah.
Good but flawed. End of the good but flawed tier.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, sounds good.
Awesome. Because again, there's lots of flaws. Like, I could sit there off the top of my head and be like, oh yeah, that part sucks, and that part sucks, and that part sucks, and that part sucks. Okay. How about Super Metroid, the last game we're talking about on this show? Where does that belong?
This game defined a whole genre. This game kickstarted a franchise. It really kicked that franchise into high gear, where this was the sci-fi horror experience on the original Super Nintendo, or on the Super Nintendo. I kind of want to put it in required playing. But I don't know. I kind of may be a great experience. I think, you know what, you could put it ahead of Chrono Trigger.
Great experience. No, I believe that Super Metroid, it created old genres. Castlevanias. Or Castlevania. It didn't create Metroidvanias. It kind of helped create that. So in my mind, it's going up to required playing. Super Metroid, I would say every single person should play this game to find out how they use abilities and gameplay mechanics as keys to exploring a world. It's done really well. My only issue is, of these top 14 games that were up here, where does it belong? That's kind of where I'm thinking, right? I don't think it hits the same highs as Link to the Past. It's not a Super Mario World. I might do that. I might do that, just in terms of required playing, as in you want to understand where video games came from, video games just experience, right? How we got to now. You'd be like, oh, I understand Hollow Knight now. I understand Cave Story. I understand all these games better because Super Metroid, it started a genre. It is the Metroid of Metroidvanias. It's got to be way up there.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense to me. Now, will Resident Evil rise over Mario Brothers in the future? I'm not sure, because there's something there that's I feel like maybe that's just, again, one of my rose-tinted glasses, because that's one of my favorite games also. It's is Resident Evil a better experience than Super Mario Brothers 3?
Yeah, that's tough to say. In terms of platforming, did Mario Brothers 3 do more for platforming than Resident Evil did for horror and survival horror? I'm gonna leave it for now.
And that's what I'm like, that might be debatable, but I'm excited to see what people's feedback is on this, because I know we're already second guessing you second guess some stuff, and you're like, no, that feels much better. So this is a fun experiment. Glad we're going on this journey to rank all the games. We're starting to get a bell curve distribution going on, where it's a little bit, or actually half a bell curve distribution, a little bit top heavy, a little bit so.
Yeah, no, but again, going back, it's interesting to look at this, right? Required, in theory, of our first 30 shows, we're only saying that 5 of them deserve to be replayed. People need to play. If you're like what we're putting out, picking up our experiences, this is kind of the next tier. You're going to have phenomenal experiences. And then everything kind of below this tier, proceed with caution.
Yeah, know what you're kind of getting yourself
this is proceed with caution. There's going to be parts where you're this sucks. And then this one is just it's fine. We did the dirty work for you. You can move on with your life and never play those games, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Sweet.
See, I think it's working out well so far. We got lots more to go, and I'm interested to see how all the games we looked are actually gonna like here's our tier list of
Yeah.
every game we played because we've been doing this for 7 years. So it's neat to kind of lay everything out on a board and actually see how it shapes up.
Well, and I'm interested to see like how many games we get to, and it was like I have no recollection or memory of playing this game whatsoever. All of these games I have like I could tell you I played them. You know, that's where I'm at thus far. I've at least played all these games. I'm curious when we get to the part where I'm like, I don't recall playing this game ever. So
that's gonna be like, wait, we actually played this game? I thought I was gonna recommend that we played this game this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, sweet. Yeah. So with that, that wraps up our show. I'll see you guys in a week's time when we get to 31 to 40. Ooh, it's exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. We have a few of these more to go before we fill out the whole list because I think we've done over 100 games. So it'll be fun.
Good times.
Can't wait to see where it goes.
Sweet. Okay. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.